This is Dropkick Discussions, the only wrestling show that matters. I am so excited to hear Zeke speak. My name is Tara, and I am joined by...
the one, the only, the man who walks with Elias, Mike Foley.
That is factual truth. We are here. We are bringing you... If you remember last... What's up?
The universal truth. Never forget, Elias released a single.
This is true.
Same as Zack Ryder.
The iconic Zack Ryder. So we are here. If you remember last week, we challenged each other. We threw down the fantasy booking challenge. Mike challenged me to book Zeke for a title. I challenged Mike to book Fake Diesel in the modern day for a title. We have done it. We have accomplished it. We have done the thing. Do you want to do booking first, or do you want to do news first?
Let's do news first.
All right, because Forbidden Door happened.
Yes, it did.
We crossed the beams of wrestling companies for the first time in a pay-per-view in God knows how long. And we got results and injuries.
So the buy-in, we had Aaron Solo and QT Marshall taking on, I'm not going to pronounce the names, but I'm just going to say Aaron Solo, and they lost. Nick Camarado and Lance Archer won. Swerve in Our Glory took on El Desperado and Yoshinobu Kanemaru. Sorry if I pronounced that wrong. Swerve and Lee won. The New Gun Club took on some guys from the New Japan Dojo. The New Gun Club won. First match on the card was Chris Jericho, Minoru Suzuki, and Sammy Guevara taking on Eddie Kingston, Wheeler Yuta, and Shota Umino. And the winning team gets the man advantage at Blood and Guts. So it was, of course, the Jericho Appreciation Society with Minoru Suzuki winning. TK, I posted this on our Twitter. Give me Eddie Kingston versus... Give me what I want. Give me Eddie Kingston versus Minoru Suzuki now. Give me what I want.
Come on now.
You know what? I'll be okay if you give me Samoa Joe versus Minoru Suzuki.
You give me Samoa Joe Cesaro, I'll be happy.
Oh, we'll get to that. Don't worry. Next up was the winner takes all IWGP Tag Team Title and ROH World Tag Team Title Triple Threat, which was FTR, the United Empire's Jeff Cobb and Great Khan and Roppongi Vice. FTR won. We got that prediction right.
Mm-hmm.
FTR now have held every single tag title in the mainstream professional wrestling except for the Impact titles.
Yeah, and we know AEW's been friendly with Impact, so it could happen.
Honestly, if I get Good Brothers versus FTR by the end of the year and they are just hold all the belts,
that'd be hardcore.
That would be hardcore. They would be the true belt collectors. Eat it, Kenny. Next up we have Pac versus Miro versus Malachi Black versus Clark Connors, because Tomohiro Ishii was taken out due to injury or being not medically cleared. We don't know what the issue is, but Pac won, to the shock of you and me, because I had, even though Malachi Black is one of my favorite wrestlers of all time,
we had Miro winning.
The best man, God's champion. But hopefully that sets up a feud with Pac and Miro.
Yes.
That would be amazing.
Because
I see Pac. I love Pac. He's awesome. I could see him doing a lot more things, like maybe in the world title picture, depending on, like, we need a challenger for Moxley and stuff, you know?
Yeah, agreed.
Spoilers for later in the card.
Yes.
Next, we had the Dudes with Attitude taking on the Bullet Club. The Dudes with Attitude was... So first off, right off the bat, Dudes with Attitude lost a man due to injury. So instead it was Darby, Sting, and I'm going to mess up this guy's name, but they took on the Bucks, and I think Hikuleo was the other one that they had with them.
Phantasmo was rounding out Bullet Club.
Yeah, I think they had him out because it became a 6-man after an 8-man. But okay. Sting dove off the stage. Sting, my man, you're 63 years old.
Please don't get killed on stage, please.
Please, we just got you back.
Please don't traumatize a whole generation of wrestling fans by dying in the ring. That's not the look. It wasn't the look for Mickey Rourke, and it's not the look for you, okay? Don't do that.
Oh, no, don't mention the wrestler. Listen, Sting,
I'm sorry.
My guy. Anyway, the Dudes with Attitude won, but Sting, yes. My guy, you need to stay injury-free until you get re-signed with WWE.
That's messed up. I hope he never gets re-signed with WWE.
You know what? They're going to probably book Cody versus Sting out of spite right away if they actually get him to re-sign.
I hope they don't. I hope they never do.
Sting versus Cody? Come on.
Next up, we got Thunder Rosa defeated Toni Storm for the Women's Championship. We knew Thunder Rosa was going to retain, I feel like.
Yeah, I mean, like, Toni Storm wasn't really built up as a challenger yet, and
right.
She's kind of like the same old Ruby Soho, oh, I'm just happy to be here because I'm away from WWE wrestler character. Right. So if we get a heel Toni Storm and like a brutally heel Toni Storm, Even a women's faction with Toni Storm and Ruby Soho and like one other ex-WWE female star. That would be
Or someone different. We put a pin in that. We'll come back to that.
Yeah, that's another booking for another day. Thunder Rosa won to the shock of nobody. She's having a kind of an okay title reign.
It's all right.
It's not, it's all right, but so was Brits was getting boring at the end anyway. So next up, Tara, read it off.
We got Will Ospreay defeating Orange Cassidy with the help of Aussie Open, Kyle Fletcher, and Mark Davis for the IWGP US Heavyweight Championship. Good to see Will Ospreay winning. Love to see it. And next up, we had Claudio Castagnoli with Bryan Danielson defeating Zack Sabre Jr. The artist formerly known as Cesaro showed up at Forbidden Door and whooped some ass. I, for one, am happy to see wherever he ends up because he's a phenomenally talented wrestler.
Signed to AEW.
He's all elite for realsies?
He's all elite and he's in the Blackpool Combat Club.
Oh, word.
In Blood and Guts on Wednesday as well.
Next up, we had Jay White with Gato defeating Hangman Adam Page, Okada, and Adam Cole for the IWGP Heavyweight Championship. Yeah, it's a lot of Adams. And then wrapping up Forbidden Door, we had Jonathan Q. Moxley defeating Tanahashi by pinfall for the AEW World Championship, wrapping up a very talented card. I'm cool with it. None of it's real crazy to me. I'm down.
Two things coming off of this pay-per-view. Adam Cole is currently dealing with a concussion, although he was already dealing with a multitude of injuries apparently beforehand. And Moxley said he was concussed, but Moxley is Moxley, so he might have been joking. I'm sure he was joking because that's Moxley's humor.
Yeah.
That is Forbidden Door. The injury train, though, keeps it rolling. I think Bobby Fish, Kyle O'Reilly, Matt Hardy, and a few others on the AEW roster are injured. A lot of AEW stars are injured at the moment.
So I think it's also worth mentioning, if it's all right, Matt Hardy cut a promo in BTE this week, indicating what the next direction might be for him. Did you see this?
I did not.
Basically, he did the thing that he kind of had to do, which was mention Jeff and start to like slide back into kayfabe, as every wrestler has to do when something shitty happens in real life. And basically he talked about how he felt responsible and how he felt broken, but not in the fun way, in the way that he felt like, and in his words, why should I give a shit anymore? And he walked out. So whatever the next Matt is, I think it's going to be something different. If it's going to be Broken Matt, I don't think it's going to be fun, goofy Broken Matt. I think some people are going to get messed up.
I honestly think it's going to be super violent Matt, like how I wished the elite hunter Frankie Kazarian was. Like very violent, like very much like willing to do anything. Like Matt seems like he's going to...
I hope so.
I don't know who he's going to feud with and if he's going to be a face or a heel, but...
we shall see. So you ready? Are you ready to do this? Is the question. Are you ready to tell these stories the way only we could tell these stories?
Yeah.
All right, cool.
You gotta go first, because
I gotta go first.
We gotta hear Zeke speak.
We gotta hear Zeke speak. All right, so I'm gonna be. If full disclosure, I bent the rules a fair bit with this.
It's okay. So am I.
Okay, good. So starting at the present day, the challenge, by the way, just to reiterate, the challenge was. Because I last week was talking about how I'm kind of done with the Zeke thing, you challenged me to book him for a championship run. So, with that in mind, starting right now, Zeke, we start this on TV, right? Challenge for Roman's Universal title. And he's gonna be Zeke. Zeke's a face. He's just a guy. He's gonna set up a promo with him and Roman / Heyman in the ring. And he's going to lay out, you want to hear Zeke speak. He's going to talk about how he wants a shot at the belts, and he's going to be really, really nice because he's Zeke, right? Paul Heyman is going to respond by low-blowing him, and Roman Reigns is going to take the nearest prop and beat him into submission. Just swing on him over and over and over and over and over again and walk out, and that's it. That's it for the segment. We go to commercial, he gets carried out, limps out, whatever, right? So that takes us to the next week on Raw. So he comes out, he starts with the who wants to hear Zeke speak thing, right? And we let the crowd pop. And then he says, I don't, and leaves without saying anything but those two words. At the end of the episode, we get a quick shot, and I mean a very quick shot. And I mean, I'm talking like hyper, super duper quick shot of somebody. I didn't pick who it is. I went with Butch because I felt like it. Backstage, out cold, with a guitar broken over them. All right? Now we're on the next week. Still on Raw, all right? We still got time before we get to anything resembling a pay-per-view. We have somebody, it could be, I don't know, Michael Cole. It could be some referee character. I don't know. Someone runs into Zeke. It's a backstage thing and says, this is really messed up. Did you do this? And Zeke is adamant that he did not. Total babyface. But the last thing he says in that little backstage moment is he's sure that Butch deserved it. Walks away. Our interviewer is perplexed, and that's the end of the segment. So I had the same night, we got a match with Zeke, right? This is after that, later in the card that night. Again, I didn't really pick who it was. I said Ridge Holland just because I think, he could do that. It's a normal match until the finish, right? I don't know. Does Zeke have like a signature move yet?
No, I don't think so. I've watched a lot of Zeke's matches. I don't really know.
Okay, so he's going to do something off like the middle rope or something, get Ridge Holland down. He's going to go for the pin. And instead of pinning him, he's going to leave the ring. And underneath the ring, he's going to pull out a guitar, right? He goes into the ring. I'm sure the crowd will start the Walk with Elias chant, as they should. Mm-hmm. He looks like he's about to play something. Maybe even somebody gives him a microphone. And instead of playing anything, he cracks it over Ridge, pins him, and leaves. Still hasn't said anything about it. Right? You with me so far?
Yeah, I'm getting Jericho 2011 return so far, and I'm digging 2012 turn. I'm digging it.
So next week, we still have 2 weeks before our next pay-per-view, which is SummerSlam, I think, ballpark. And if not, yes, we do. So the next week, he goes up to Kevin Owens, who's backstage, right? And he says that he's got a message from his brother for Kevin Owens, which is that Kevin Owens will fall. Brawl breaks out backstage. That's it for that week. The go-home Raw before SummerSlam, after that brawl, Owens is in the ring, cutting a promo, as he does so well. Challenges Ezekiel to a Falls Count Anywhere match because he's that mad. This has been going on long enough. We're gonna do this. We're gonna do this right? Ezekiel accepts on one condition. Kevin Owens has to come to him. It won't be in the main ring of SummerSlam. He will have to go to where Ezekiel is, and they'll have the match there. And it's a Falls Count Anywhere match, so he could do that. Of course, Owens, ready to beat the crap out of this guy, says, yes, of course, I'll go wherever you need me. Name the time, name the place, I'm going to smack the shit out of you. To which Ezekiel says, good, it's going to be biblical. Which takes us to SummerSlam. Now, I'm putting my faith in people who do special effects things, because what we need is a cinematic match, right? There's going to be a ring in the middle of a broken down cathedral is where we're going to do this. It's going to be a Falls Count Anywhere match, and the match is going to go all over the building. We're going to pull out every trick in the book to make it look like Kevin Owens is fighting two of these people at the same time, Ezekiel and Elias. We're going to use every post-production trick in the book to pull this off, and it's going to look like he's going back and forth fighting the two of them until the very end of the match. We're finally back in the middle of the ring. A new character comes out. Instead of the minimalist aesthetic of Ezekiel, he is done in brand new gear, head to toe. Drops a finisher on Kevin Owens, match ends in the cinematic 1, 2, 3, and we go back to the stadium where SummerSlam is. All right? So next week on Raw, our new character has to cut a promo, right? He addresses the WWE Universe. I thought you could walk with me. I thought I could save you when you listen to me speak, but I was wrong. There's only one thing you understand, and that's violence. I am the chosen one, and you will all learn to bow down to me. So we're not dealing with Ezekiel. We're not dealing with Elias. We're dealing with the sum total of all of this, who only refers to himself as the chosen one. We don't even need to give him a real name. You're going to be like Emperor Palpatine. Fuck it. We don't need to know what his first name is. Not important. What's going to happen next is a bunch of squash matches. We need to, because I feel like people are invested in Ezekiel Elias, but I feel like no one's afraid of him. I think we need to do our best to make people afraid of the chosen one. And again, he's going to get a new finisher. I didn't pick what it is. I'm open to suggestions, but he's gonna develop a signature move. He's gonna have done to the nines ring gear at all times, and he's going to pick up a body count, basically. He's going to be a threat, and eventually what this is going to hopefully, and you know what? You know what's fucking great is that this might work with the last fantasy booking we did, because by now, Roman only needs to have one belt on him. So at Clash of Clans over there in the UK, the Chosen One is going to take the final belt off of Roman, and that's how he starts his title run. Now, what has to happen next, I'm a little fuzzy on, because we could give him a title run. We could make it like you gave me like 2 years to work with, so we could go a while, but I don't know if we have to. I think this character needs to occupy the role that the Fiend occupied, which is because they don't really have someone doing this right now. Actually, there isn't really a company that has someone doing this right now, which is mostly like cinematic post-production, not cartoonish, like movie style stuff like a Fiend or a Broken Matt. There's no one really doing that right now. So and it's really conspicuous, that the Fiend was doing it and now isn't. So if we give that character to the Chosen One, who his biggest introduction to the world was a cinematic match, and if that's kind of his calling card, is doing bordering on supernatural stuff, but in the direction of deranged, culty, bow down to me, not so much the lunatic Broken Matter Fiend. So like the magic of the Fiend with like the cult leader status of Mr. Brody Lee is kind of what I'm thinking for this character. I didn't write a stable for him, because then I think it would look a little bit too much like, hey, we're going to make the Dark Order here. But in his like marketing and in his approach, I think we could build him up to be that kind of like Godhead type figure. And then eventually I kind of want Kevin Owens way down the line to take the belt back. I was trying to think of other people that it could go to. And there are some that like, there's a lot that would work. There's a lot that could do it. But I think to kind of bring that story full circle and then move on to whatever the next thing is, down the road at a pay-per-view, Kevin Owens, maybe in another cinematic match to bring it full circle, takes the belt off of him. And that's my story. It puts away Ezekiel and Elias and replaces them with the Chosen One, a new character, and a different flavor of wrestler for the WWE's roster. What do you think?
I love it. Because the best thing about The Fiend was that he was the right amount of stupid and the right amount of scary.
Yes.
Elias, the guy behind him, can make anything work. Like, truly, he has made Ezekiel work, and I am a big fan of Ezekiel. There's no but. It's just like, it's a great story because it's like he's going insane. He's becoming broken. He's going insane. The two personalities merge.
Yeah.
Like, this is cool. And even having Kevin Owens, one of my favorites of all time, win a title. Fuck yes. Oh, I love it. Jealous. I wish I had thought of that. Mine is a bit different.
That's right. My only condition in that is that you have to, and this is what made Broken Matt work, and this is what made The Fiend work. You have to have kayfabe magic. You have to, or else it looks like the plot is that this guy has multiple personalities, and that's the gimmick, which you don't want. So you have to blend in a little bit of, he has power. He did this whole crazy cinematic thing, was kayfabe, right? In the cathedral. Like, that's in universe. That happened in the story. So as long as you keep that in mind, which is the same thing they did with Broken Matt, which is the same thing they did with The Fiend, which is what's notably missing from Luther's TV character, which is why I don't like him. As long as you keep that in mind and don't just make it the punchline is this guy's sick in the head, you're good. So that's my booking for the Chosen One, the artist formerly known as Ezekiel, the artist formerly known as Elias. That's all I got.
I am very jealous. You are gonna find mine a little interesting.
You always say some shit like, I'm gonna hate yours, and I never do. I always like the stuff you do.
Okay. I'm gonna take you on the story. It starts with Fake Diesel, but I added to it. It's called taking the guy who plays Fake Diesel and turning him into the new John Cena.
Oh, shit. I'm excited. So I told you to book Fake Diesel in the modern day. That was my response to you challenging me to do Ezekiel. The floor is yours.
So on a random night, Vince comes down to the ring. It's a Raw. He comes down to the ring. He taps the microphone and goes, "Wow!" And then he kind of basically says, "NXT is shit. I need to redo it again. But instead of giving it its own time slot, I'm just going to merge the shows and make a whole new wrestling formula for you guys called Raw and SmackDown 2.0. And it gets the whole NXT 2.0 rebrand. We have the colorful background, we have the white lights, we have the
Okay. Yeah.
He also announces that the NXT Championship is to become the new, and this is the full name, the new World Heavyweight Championship. New is in the name. And he announces a tournament that features Omos, Braun Breaker, Cameron Grimes, Carmelo Hayes, Santo Escobar, Akira Tozawa, Reggie, T-Bar, Mansoor, and a mystery opponent. In the first round, Akira Tozawa is waiting in the ring because, he's Akira Tozawa. He's vibing. Vince walks down. He walks out and he goes, well, here's your mystery opponent. And it is clearly Austin Theory dressed up as fake Diesel. He's got the suspenders, the goatee, the long hair, the glove, like it's a wig, everything. Vince helps fake Diesel win the tournament all the way through to SummerSlam, where he faces like Braun Breaker and beats Braun Breaker clean. And then for the next year, he beats T-Bar, Mansoor, Rey Mysterio, Dominic Mysterio, anybody that steps up to him. Boom, done. Power bomb, same thing. Literally Diesel's moveset. Except at next year's SummerSlam. In the build to it, Kevin Nash returns and challenges Fake one-on-one match. We're getting Fake Taker versus Real Taker 2, Electric Boogaloo, baby.
Oh, shit.
And at SummerSlam, Vince wants to prove that Fake Diesel is the real Diesel, so he has him wrestle 2 matches in one night. He is wrestling and defending his title in a 6-man ladder match against Reggie, T-Bar, Butch, Braun Breaker, and Carmelo Hayes. Hayes wins the title with the help of Vince, and then immediately after, Theory is bleeding, he's not looking good, sends out Kevin Nash. Kevin Nash walks down to the ring, powerbomb, powerbomb, powerbomb. Vince counts it 1, 2, 3, 5 minutes. It's instant squash. Theory comes down to the ring in his fake Diesel outfit, rips everything off, and says, my name is Austin Theory, and I want you, Vince. I want Diesel. I want every single one because you put me through this crap. He's pissed. He wants to fight management. So he demands a fight. He wants to fight Kevin Nash, and he wants Vince to explain himself. Vince pops up on the screen. He's sitting in his office, and he goes, you are no longer my protege. You are just one of the other NXT call-ups that failed me. So every week, to prove that you are worth the money I signed you for, you have to win to keep your job. So every week, Theory wins. He's got a lot of momentum. And going into the Royal Rumble, and at this point, I'd like to clarify, he has changed his name officially to Austin Theory, because Theory is a dumb, stupid fucking name. He enters in, Vince tells him, you're entering in the Royal Rumble at number 1. Theory makes the distance and is in the final 6 or 7 of the guys, and he's throwing them out left and right. And then number 30 hits, and it's Kevin Nash's music. Kevin Nash comes down to the ring and throws Theory out with a power bomb onto the outside. Vince then walks down to the ring after the match, picks up Theory, who is still laying there, and says, you're fired. So over the next 3 weeks, every superstar that was in that tournament is found beaten down. I mean, literally word for word, every single superstar that I mentioned, beaten down backstage. Vince, becoming paranoid, the only person that wasn't beaten down was Carmelo. Hires Carmelo and Kevin Nash as his personal bodyguards. That night that he hires them, Theory is seen in the crowd and then immediately jumps the barricade and attacks Carmelo, attacks Kevin Nash, beats him down, beats him, tries to get his hands on Vince, but Kevin Nash saves the day and puts Theory through a table. Over the next few weeks, we're talking February now, so they're gonna have different vignettes of Theory finding Carmelo Hayes in a restaurant and pouring hot soup on him or something stupid, but at the same time saying, hey, fuck you, I'm going to life now. Same thing with Kevin Nash over and over again, just they're on his shit list and they're number 1. He's willing to do anything. It's announced going into Fastlane, Vince is set to speak about the Austin Theory situation. He says, all right, Austin, you want to be rehired? You got it. You got a title match at WrestleMania against his true protege, Roman Reigns. Theory accepts on the condition that earlier in the weekend he gets a shot at Hayes' title, and he also is in a loser leaves WWE match against Kevin Nash. Vince accepts and says the same condition that he did when Theory lost at SummerSlam. If you lose, you're fired and you're gone forever. So leading into Mania weekend, Theory is beaten down by the Usos. I'm talking through the table, through some cinder blocks, off the stage, anything. Just beat him down to make it really hurt. So night 1, he comes down, taped up ribs, beats Carmelo and wins the title. So he's the new World Heavyweight Champion. And he also beats Kevin Nash but dressed up as fake Diesel, hitting Nash with his very own powerbomb, 1, 2, 3. At night 2, battered, bruised, title versus title, Theory beats Roman Reigns and wins the WWE Championship, merging the World Heavyweight Championship with it. That's my story.
Yo, okay. I'm going to be honest. When I first started with the fake Diesel thing, I did not expect it to be that good. I was expecting some goofy, like, some cartoon romper room shit, but that was good. It was good, and you give Theory, like, I feel like that legitimizes Austin Theory so much more than just, oh, Vince likes me. I feel like your angle legitimizes him so much more. That was fucking awesome. I like that a lot.
I try. And what it also does is it then just immediately calls up all the guys ready in NXT. This is the other thing. Raw and SmackDown have been limiting, and I love NXT as much as anybody, but like if you have 3 rosters and all of them are pretty thin to the point where you have a guy who was your former mid-card champion going right to the world title and not even giving a shit about the mid-card title, it says a lot about your roster. So having everyone just get called up, having that more a little bloated, like I'd keep NXT, but just you're merging all the rosters. More fun that way.
Yeah. Plus, you could reconsider how you want to do that after the Austin Theory situation resolves itself.
Exactly.
You could revisit that when Vince is like, okay, fine. Like, you could go back to it.
Yeah. There you go. You got a top new Austin, John Cena combined babyface, because what I was trying to avoid was Vince saying, all right, Austin, you want it, you got it. Because Vince already has one enemy named Austin.
Yes.
Best friend named Austin.
This is true. I liked it very much. I like that a lot.
Thank you.
So now that we've done the news, we've done this, I have a proposition for you.
I'd love to hear it.
So next week, as you may or may not know, we have a very secret classified thing that will interrupt our normal recording schedule.
Yep.
So I propose this to you. The next week, not next week, the week after. So we have ballpark 2 weeks to hammer this out. Mike Foley, would you like to do the first Dropkick Discussions how they should have booked and start with the biggest missed opportunity in the history of professional wrestling, the invasion?
To quote the best submission specialist in the world right now. Yes. Yes.
So that gives us So that gives us time, right? So that gives us time to deal with the secret thing that's a secret that I don't want to reveal any of until it's set in stone. That would be the all fucking bets are off episode of podcasting. But that's secret.
It's okay. We're in season 2. Season 2, we can curse.
Right. That gives us time to deal with that and set up. I don't think there's a better way you could start fantasy, how they should have done style fantasy booking than the biggest missed opportunity in the history of pro wrestling. And also, I'm going to need help with that. We're going to have to tag team up on that because there was a lot of shit happening during the invasion era. Like, there was a lot of shit happening during the for those of you that for the youngins that don't know, the invasion was the kayfabe reason that all the WCW guys showed up in WWF after Vince bought WCW, right?
This is a pretty good reason too. This is the thing. It had so much potential.
Yeah. Now we're gonna take a crack at rewriting that, which means we're gonna have to tweak the matches going into the buyout, the invasion itself, and then what happened next. It's a tall order. I think we can do it.
How about this? We tell our own invasion stories and how we would have booked it rather than each specific match.
Right. Let's
keep it to that. Let's not go match for match, because if we do that, we're going to be here for a while.
Right. Only the important ones that like determine the direction of where the story is going.
Let's rebook the invasion pay-per-view. But we don't need to book every other pay-per-view leading into it.
Not everyone, but just we need to like give direction on what's going to happen, because I think to make this work you needed to like you got to give it a little bit of direction. So that's what I think we should do, and then that also gives us time to record the thing,
the super secret thing.
That's the deal. So do you have anything else you want to get in for this episode?
If you want to tell us which one was better on our Twitter, feel free at DD the podcast. And if you think you can cut a better promo, I have a Zoom link that has your name on it. So don't be afraid to shoot us a DM, because I promise you, your arms are just too short to box with gods.
That's right. Anytime, any place, we're ready to go. So thank you so much for listening. Make sure you subscribe up if you haven't already. Tell your mother we said hi. We will see all of you on Drop.